let's switch to a game that is more your speed, Jack. Tell us what you've been playing this week.
Yeah, I've been playing a puzzle game with trains in it.
You say, why would you want to work in Elden Ring? And now you say you've been working on the Railroad. Is it Jack, huh?
I was not hammering in sleepers. No, I like puzzles. That is something that I enjoy. I've played a couple of puzzle games this year, and I think this might be my favorite one. First of all, Garrett, I will say that this game does have, in the little cutscenes after you finish a puzzle, some dogs in some full railway gear, wearing the sweet railway hats with the little railway whistles. So
will they be in goodest boy candidacy?
I mean, they're up there. They look pretty happy about it. They're not animated though. They're just kind of stills of these train dogs.
Wait, Jack, I just want to check, because you've got it down here on the document as Railroad, but is this actually Railbound?
Railbound, yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing this as well. I like this game. It's a great game.
It's a really good game, isn't it?
It's really good. I like it, yeah.
Yeah, it's I'd say initially, like, you get into it and you do the first couple of puzzles and, you know, you lay down your track. Basically, you just have it's simply pretty much a get something from A to B game. And then it complicates it by adding a second thing that you've got to get from A to B, but you've got to get them in order. And then it adds a third thing that you've got to get from A to B, and so on and so forth. And complexity goes up, and you get X amount of train pieces to guide these things like down the tracks. And it's all about placement and curvature of the rails and making sure that your stuff doesn't bump into each other. And I'd say initially, I think the escalation's pretty steep, Mark, because like they teach you a little bit about how it works, and then they just sort of throw you into the deep end and they're like, right, figure out these puzzles. But when you do, it's incredibly satisfying, and they have not only just the sort of basic standard critical path of the game, but they've got the little offshoot puzzles. Like, have you gone back and done the little offshoot puzzles in every section?
Did like the first one or two, but then as I usually do with these types of puzzle games where they have those like side quest puzzles, I get to a point where I'm like, you know, I'm just going to mainline through the main set of puzzles, and then I might at the end come back to some of them.
Yeah, they're like different takes on the initial version of the puzzle, and they're so much harder.
They're like Dark World versions of the main puzzles.
Exactly, and because I'm me, I'm like, I see this as another thing I struggled with Elden Ring is, I think if I was going to be satisfied in completing that game, I would need to play it for like 7,000 hours to make sure I got every single bit of the lore out that Dave was talking about. So with Railbound, it's not that tough really, because you know they put the like side puzzles on like Front Street in the levels, and you go back in and they're really tough and they're really challenging, but again they're like really satisfying to complete. And yeah, it's a game where there's not really too much to it. I think you've probably seen games like this before. You've seen get thing from point A to point B games before, but I think the style is really adorable, like the little train carriages and the steam engines and the dogs and everything. And the layout of the puzzles is really intelligent, and it gives you that sense of accomplishment and happiness when you do manage to figure them out. And it involves kind of lateral thinking, and it is a bit more passive than, say, like, you know, running away from a giant Goliath that's trying to hack your head off, or a fire-breathing dog or something that you would get in Elden Ring. So I'm very much on I am like the sort of person that likes to plot my way around a game type thinky kind of guy in this segment of talking about games. But yeah, Railbound, high recommend. It's my favourite puzzle game I've played this year so far. So yeah, it's definitely not going to be my game of the year, but it is a very satisfying thing to play. Oh yeah, and I should probably admit to you that I've been playing it on Steam because I bought a Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Hey Jack, I'd recommend you download the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters. I think that's what the device is actually made for.